Welcome to Azure Data Factory session. In today's session, we are going to see the write behavior. Earlier, in the write behavior, we saw the insert feature and the upset feature. Now, we are going to see the stored procedure. Stored procedures are used to apply some business logic or some transaction while inserting or updating the record. For example, in our case, right, we are using the blob storage file as a source. When we do the insert or upset, what it will do, it will copy the entire data into the sync table. To avoid this, we can use the stored procedure. Let us see how to do that. This is our pipeline. Earlier we used the source as a blob storage. Now we are going to use same source, and in the sync, right, earlier we used insert. What insert it will do, it entire source data it will copy into the table, and similarly upset also it will copy or update, insert or update, right, that is upset. Now we are going to use the stored procedure. To use the stored procedure, we need to create a stored procedure, right? Let me go to the database. I'll create a stored procedure. This is the stored procedure, right? Before we go to the stored procedure, we need to tell to the system what is the type. Type means the source file, it's a file, right? The source file has some columns, right? For that, we need to create a database types. Let me tell, this is the source file. For row ID, order ID, order date, ship date, these are all the columns, right? For these columns, we need to create a type in database. It is similarly, it has to match with the source. I created, this is the syntax to create a type. I created the type already. My type name is superstore type. In my file, if you look at the columns, right, if you look at the column till profit, I have the column, but in my type, if you see, we have inserted on and inserted by. These two additional column I am trying to insert, which is not there in the source file. These two column will come from additional column properties. While creating the type, we need to consider those two column also. Okay, once you created the type, right, we can create a stored procedure. This is my stored procedure. I'm passing this type as a input parameter. Okay, my input parameter name is source data. The type of the parameter is source type. The one I created, superstore type, right? That one. It should be the read only. Otherwise, it will throw an error. Okay. Once it is ready, within that you can write your SQL script. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert the record into demo superstore table. What record I'm going to insert? I'm passing the source data. Within the source data, whatever the columns are there, all the columns we created in the type, that will be there. What I'm doing here I'm selecting all the data from the source parameter, and I'm applying ship mode as a standard class. It means it will filter only the standard class and insert those record into demo superstore table. This is a procedure I created. Let's go to the portal. We will use the procedure in the sync. Okay, refresh the stored procedure name. It will give you the latest procedure we created now. This is the stored procedure name. Once you selected the stored procedure, you will get import parameter button. You do the just import. See what's happening there. By default, it pick up the type, table type. Okay, the table type is nothing but the one we created in the table SQL, right? This one. And then another parameter. What is the parameter name? What is the parameter name? Within the stored procedure, we use the parameter name, right? Source data. That by default it will pick up. That's all. We are good with the stored procedure selection here. What we will do, we will try here the mapping. Go to mapping, import schema. The mapping is perfect now. Okay, it are mapped automatically all the column. Let us execute our, okay, before executing, what I will do, I will check the table. We have any record or not. For now, our table is empty. there is no record in it. Let us execute the pipeline now. As I said, we are going to read this file, right? This file contains total how many rows? 66,097 records are there. Out of 66k, how many records are there with the standard class? Let me apply the filter there. Standard class alone we are loading, right? 16,524 record. Pipeline read total number of record and try to write all those record. But our procedure will filter only the standard class and then load. Okay, let us check the table now. How many records are there? 16,524 records are there. It's perfectly matching with the Excel sheet. See, this is the count. Now let's see the data. I'm selecting only top 10 record. Yes, we don't want to fetch all the record. It is fetching only the standard class. This is how we can use the stored procedure in a copy activity sync. Okay, with this let us conclude this session. We will meet in next session. Thank you.